Welcome to an exploration of one of history's most enduring enigmas. Locked away in Yale University's Beinecke Rare Book Library lies a medieval codex that has confounded the world's greatest cryptographers, linguists, and even intelligence agencies for over a century. Created between 1404 and 1438, the Voynich Manuscript contains 240 pages of indecipherable text and bizarre illustrations that have resisted every attempt at translation. Today, we'll journey through its mysterious pages, examine its baffling content, trace its shadowy history, and explore the cutting-edge efforts to crack its code. Join me as we unravel the story of a book that might represent the most sophisticated intellectual puzzle ever created. The Voynich Manuscript, catalogued as MS-408 at Yale University, consists of approximately 240 vellum pages filled with an unknown script and peculiar illustrations. Carbon dating has conclusively placed its creation between 1404 and 1438, firmly in Europe's late medieval period. What makes this manuscript extraordinary is not just its age, but its complete resistance to decryption. Despite over a century of intense scrutiny by the world's top codebreakers, including specialized teams from the NSA and British intelligence during World War II, not a single sentence has been successfully translated. The writing system appears meticulously structured and intentional, with consistent character usage throughout. Statistical analysis reveals word frequency distributions that mirror natural languages, suggesting this isn't random gibberish, but a genuine language or sophisticated code. The script contains between 23 and 40 unique characters, depending on how certain variations are interpreted, and these characters form words that appear to follow consistent grammatical patterns. This internal coherence makes its continued indecipherability all the more baffling, as it defies conventional analytical approaches that have successfully cracked other historical codes. The manuscript's history is nearly as enigmatic as its contents. The first confirmed owner was Georg Berisch, a 17th-century alchemist from Prague, who struggled unsuccessfully to understand the text. Following his death, the manuscript passed to Johannes Marcus Marci, who then sent it to Athanasius Kircher, a Jesuit scholar renowned for his work deciphering Egyptian hieroglyphics. The accompanying letter made an extraordinary claim, that Holy Roman Emperor Rudolph II of Bohemia had purchased the manuscript for 600 ducats, a staggering sum equivalent to tens of thousands of modern dollars. This royal connection adds another layer of intrigue to the manuscript's story. After this documented transfer, the manuscript vanishes from historical record for nearly 250 years, only resurfacing in 1912 when rare book dealer Wilfrid Voynich purchased it from the Jesuit college at Villa Mondragone, near Rome. This enormous gap in the manuscript's history has fueled countless theories about where it might have been hidden and why. Some historians believe it may have been concealed in private collections or monastery libraries during the turbulent religious and political upheavals of Europe, particularly if its contents were considered heretical or dangerous. The manuscript's survival through this period suggests either remarkable luck or deliberate protection by individuals who recognized its significance, despite not understanding its meaning. After Voynich's acquisition, the manuscript changed hands several times before being donated to Yale University in 1969 by H.P. Krauss, who had purchased it for $24,500 but couldn't find a buyer at his asking price of $160,000. Despite its mysterious disappearance for centuries, physical examination confirms its medieval origin through watermarks and binding techniques consistent with the early 15th century, eliminating theories of a more modern creation. The manuscript's content is organized into distinct sections, each with unique characteristics. The herbal section is perhaps the most extensive, containing numerous detailed drawings of plants that have confounded botanists for decades. Each illustration is meticulously rendered with roots, stems, leaves, and flowers, yet none can be conclusively identified with any known plant species. The drawings show plants with impossible combinations of features, roots, leaves, and flowers in configurations that simply don't exist in nature. The color patterns and structural elements seem almost deliberately fantastical, defying botanical reality. Some researchers have proposed these might be stylized representations of real plants, while others suggest they could be composite creations combining features from multiple species. More exotic theories propose they might depict plants that were extinct even when the manuscript was created, or species endemic to regions unknown to medieval European botany. What's particularly striking is the level of artistic skill and possible botanical knowledge demonstrated in these illustrations. Each plant is drawn with careful attention to detail, with consistent artistic conventions used throughout the section. This level of care and precision makes the inability to identify these specimens all the more perplexing. Each plant illustration is accompanied by text that presumably describes the plant's properties, perhaps indicating medicinal uses, growing conditions, or other relevant information forever locked away in the undeciphered script. Following the herbal section, the manuscript transitions to what appears to be an astronomical or astrological section. This portion contains circular diagrams featuring celestial symbols, including suns, moons, and stars, along with what seem to be zodiacal imagery. However, these diagrams don't correspond to any known astronomical or astrological systems from any culture or time period. The circular illustrations often contain concentric rings with embedded figures and text arranged in spiral patterns. Some diagrams show what might be interpreted as celestial bodies with human-like faces, while others display arrangements of stars in configurations that don't match any known constellations recognized by medieval European, Arabic, or Asian astronomy. Some pages feature what appear to be calendar-like arrangements with small nude female figures positioned around the circles, possibly representing months or seasons, but in a system that aligns with no known calendar. These astronomical incongruities have led researchers to propose various theories that the manuscript might represent an alternative cosmological understanding from a lost tradition, a deliberately constructed fictional universe with its own celestial mechanics, or perhaps an encoded representation of actual astronomical knowledge disguised through symbolic substitution. The precision of these circular diagrams suggests they were created using drafting tools rather than freehand drawing, indicating a creator with access to sophisticated instruments and possibly formal astronomical training. Yet the content of these diagrams remains as impenetrable as the text that accompanies them, representing another layer of this manuscript's multifaceted mystery. Perhaps the most bizarre and captivating portion of the Voynich Manuscript is what scholars call the biological or balneological section. These pages contain elaborate networks of tubular structures connected to small nude female figures bathing in pools of green or brown liquids. The female figures appear in various poses, often adorned with crowns or elaborate headdresses, suggesting some ritual or symbolic significance rather than mere anatomical illustration. The interconnected tubes and vessels create complex systems resembling primitive plumbing networks, with the liquids flowing between various chambers and pools. This section has generated numerous interpretations. Some scholars speculate these might represent alchemical processes, where the female figures symbolize stages of material transformation central to alchemical philosophy. Others propose they might illustrate medieval concepts of human reproduction and female anatomy, representing an early gynecological medical text. Alternative theories suggest they could depict medicinal practices involving therapeutic bathing, or even allegorical representations of spiritual transformation through ritual purification. The consistent use of female figures specifically has led some researchers to connect this section to women's health practices or fertility rituals that might have been passed down through female practitioners. The detailed nature of these illustrations, with their careful attention to the connecting systems of tubes and vessels, suggests they were meant to convey specific information rather than merely decorative or fantastical imagery. Yet without the ability to read the accompanying text, the true purpose of these unusual diagrams remains one of the manuscript's most compelling mysteries. The manuscript continues with what appear to be pharmaceutical and recipe sections, suggesting practical applications for the knowledge contained in its pages. The pharmaceutical section displays labeled drawings of containers and various plant parts, organized in a way that resembles a systematic catalog or reference guide. These illustrations depict jars, vials, and containers of various shapes, each carefully labeled in the same undecipherable script. The arrangement suggests a methodical approach to categorization, perhaps representing a comprehensive pharmacopoeia or collection of medicinal preparations. The careful organization implies these pages were intended for practical application rather than being purely decorative or fictional content. Following this is the recipe section, which comprises text broken into short paragraphs, each marked with a distinctive star-like symbol in the left margin. This formatting closely resembles cookbooks or medicinal texts from the medieval period, with what appear to be step-by-step procedures indicated by the paragraph structure and marginal notations. The consistent use of the star symbol might indicate ingredients, procedural steps, or perhaps warnings about certain preparations. Without being able to decipher the text, it remains impossible to determine whether these are culinary recipes, medical treatments, alchemical procedures, or something entirely different. The structured nature of these sections strongly suggests the manuscript was created as a practical reference work, rather than a fictional or purely artistic creation. This practical orientation has led many researchers to believe the manuscript contains valuable lost knowledge, perhaps medicinal recipes or alchemical procedures that were deliberately encoded to protect trade secrets or avoid accusations of heresy during the medieval period. The theories about the Voynich manuscript range from the scholarly to the fantastical, reflecting over a century of intense investigation. Some researchers initially suspected it might be an elaborate hoax created by Wilfrid Voynich himself to increase its value, though carbon dating has conclusively ruled this out. Others have suggested it might be a ciphertext encoding information about alchemy, herbal medicine, or esoteric knowledge too dangerous to record openly during the Inquisition. The linguistic analyses have produced particularly fascinating results. Statistical patterns in the text show remarkable similarities to natural languages, with word distributions following Zipf's law, a mathematical pattern found in all known human languages where the frequency of any word is inversely proportional to its rank in the frequency table. The text also shows evidence of sophisticated morphology, with apparent prefixes and suffixes consistently modifying root words. This linguistic structure strongly suggests an authentic communication system, rather than random nonsense, leading researchers to investigate constructed languages, obscure dialects, and complex encoding systems. In 2019, Gerard Cheshire of the University of Bristol claimed to have decoded the manuscript as a Proto-Romance language written in a novel writing system. His theory proposed the manuscript was created by a Dominican nun as a reference source for Queen Maria of Castile. However, other Voynich researchers quickly dismissed his theory for methodological flaws, particularly his selective interpretation of symbols. His approach exemplifies a persistent challenge in Voynich research: confirmation bias, where scholars unconsciously force patterns to fit preconceived theories, rather than letting the evidence guide their conclusions. More recently, artificial intelligence approaches have opened new avenues for investigation. In 2018, computer scientists from the University of Alberta used AI algorithms to identify the manuscript's language as encoded Hebrew, though this conclusion remains contentious among scholars. Machine learning techniques have allowed researchers to identify potential patterns invisible to human analysis, generating both promising leads and controversial results requiring rigorous verification. The advent of artificial intelligence and advanced computational methods has revolutionized Voynich research, bringing new analytical power to this centuries-old mystery. Perhaps most intriguingly, in 2017, statistical analysis by Greg Kondrak and Bradley Hauer from the University of Alberta suggested the text might be encoded through a complex Hebrew-based cipher that includes both character substitution and word rearrangement. Their algorithm identified the manuscript's opening line as potentially reading, "She made recommendations to the priest, man of the house, and me and people." This computational approach represents the cutting edge of Voynich research, combining traditional cryptographic techniques with modern data analysis. Other researchers have applied machine learning algorithms to identify patterns in the text that might be invisible to human analysis. These approaches have suggested connections to various language families, including Sino-Tibetan, Arabic, and even encoded Latin. Neural networks trained on multiple languages have been used to identify potential grammatical structures and semantic patterns within the text. Multispectral imaging technology has revealed details invisible to the naked eye, including undertext, corrections, and ink composition that provides clues about the manuscript's creation process. Computer vision algorithms have been applied to the botanical illustrations, searching for pattern matches with known plant species across global databases. Despite these sophisticated approaches, the manuscript continues to guard its secrets. This resistance to decryption by modern computational methods suggests either an encryption system of remarkable sophistication or a constructed language with no reference point in known linguistics, both extraordinary achievements for a medieval creator. The manuscript's ability to withstand these advanced analytical techniques has only deepened its mystery and allure, transforming it from a historical curiosity into a benchmark for testing the limits of modern computational linguistics and artificial intelligence. The Voynich manuscript's persistent opacity has transformed it from a mere historical curiosity into a cultural touchstone representing the limits of human knowledge. Its influence extends far beyond academic circles into popular culture, inspiring novels, music, art installations, and even video games. Authors have used it as the basis for historical thrillers and fantasy narratives. Musicians have created compositions based on treating the manuscript's text as musical notation, and artists have created works responding to its mysterious imagery. This cultural resonance speaks to something fundamental in human nature, our simultaneous fascination with and frustration by that which we cannot understand. The manuscript has become a symbol of the unknown, a reminder that despite our technological advances, some mysteries remain impenetrable. For cryptographers and linguists, the manuscript represents the ultimate challenge, a code that has resisted breaking despite a century of effort by the world's most brilliant minds. For historians, it represents a tantalizing glimpse into medieval knowledge systems that might otherwise be lost to time. For artists and writers, it provides a canvas for imagination, a space where the boundaries between history and fantasy blur. As technology advances, new approaches to the manuscript continue to emerge. Yet the manuscript's secrets remain elusive, perhaps permanently so. This possibility, that we may never decode the text, raises profound questions about knowledge, communication, and the passage of time. What happens when a communication system becomes so disconnected from its cultural context that it becomes unintelligible? How much of our own knowledge might become similarly opaque to future civilizations? Whether the Voynich manuscript represents an elaborate hoax, an encrypted text, or a record in a lost language, it stands as a monument to human creativity and mystery. It reminds us that despite our technological advances and scientific understanding, some puzzles from the past continue to confound our most determined efforts at comprehension. In this age of information, abundance, and instant answers, the manuscript's stubborn silence offers a rare and valuable gift: the humility of acknowledging that some mysteries may remain forever beyond our grasp. The Voynich Manuscript stands as one of humanity's most enduring intellectual puzzles, a 15th-century book that has defied decryption by the world's greatest minds for over a century. From its mysterious origins in medieval Europe to its current home in Yale University's secure vaults, this enigmatic text, with its bizarre illustrations of impossible plants, unknown astronomical systems, and peculiar biological scenes, continues to challenge our understanding of history, language, and knowledge transmission. Despite advanced computational linguistics, artificial intelligence, and multispectral imaging techniques, the manuscript's 240 vellum pages remain as indecipherable today as when they first emerged from obscurity. What makes this mystery particularly compelling is not just its resistance to solution, but what it reveals about our relationship with the unknown. In an era when we expect all information to be instantly accessible, the Voynich Manuscript reminds us of knowledge's fragility, how meaning systems can become lost across time, how cultural context shapes understanding, and how some puzzles may simply lie beyond our grasp. Whether it contains encrypted medical knowledge, alchemical secrets, a constructed language, or represents the most sophisticated hoax in history, the Voynich Manuscript continues to humble us with a profound message. Despite all our technological advancement, some mysteries from our past may remain forever beyond our comprehension, standing as monuments to human ingenuity and the enduring power of the unknown. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for updates. Your feedback is appreciated. We hope to see you again.